And speaking of logging things down, here we are now on Romanticide LE. We're in the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top left-hand corner. We have the blue Protoss player at one point playing for Team Exxon, but now going to be playing for Storm Gaming. He is coming down from Poland, Gerald. Old mate Gary.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Romanticide LE, we have the Russian Terran. He is red, representing Team Starcom. It is Bratok.
Now, I had a dream the other night, Light. I dreamt that I was casting a series. It was Bratok versus MaxPax, I believe, is what it was. And in that dream, Bratok went 3 racks 2 games in a row, and MaxPax just kind of swatted him down.
Is that because of what we casted last time with all the proxy raxes? Is that influenced you?
That was not a dream. That is what actually happened.
It did happen. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Oh god, we'll see how Bratok plays this series out. So far, no proxy here on Romanticide, which is a little bit surprising. We'll see what Bratok has in store for us here. Again, you know, he's not playing this to get out of the group. More than anything, he's playing this for pride, and also, I guess, for a bit of money as well.
Yeah, there's actually quite a bit of money to be made winning a series. It's $145 if last time I checked. It's pretty substantial.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about the series. It's all about the placements. Oh boy. But again, we'll see how he does against Gerald. Gerald's another Protoss player. Again, I don't know what it is about EU and Protosses, but there are a lot of them, and they're getting better.
Yeah, the time has long passed when it was just showtime. MaxPax really been popping off. Skilless as well. A lot of potential behind them. And Gerald, I would say, is also another one of those players, but hasn't really been able to shine as much as somebody like Skilless or MaxPax.
Yeah, I want to give a lot of praise to Gerald because he's one of the players who is a madman and stays up for ESL Open Cup Americas. He stays up until 5 a.m. playing in that. It's crazy. It's Gerald's, MaxPax, and Skilless as well, and Vanya. They're the D-gens who don't sleep at a normal time schedule.
They're the Elite Four, if you will.
Yeah, and Gerald, like, he's won ESL Open Cup Americas before. Like, he's beaten players like MaxPax. He's beaten players like Solar and Zest to do it. So again, Gerald, he's a very strong player. As you said, just doesn't get too much of a chance in the spotlight, you know?
But now may very much be his time. Already I'm looking at Bratok and I'm heaving a sigh of relief here, Light. There it is not another 3-Rex build.
There is not. This is a straight up 1-1-1 opening here from Bratok. Meanwhile, I do like how Gerald, he's like scouting all over the place. He's like making sure there's no like proxy starport or anything like that, even with his stalkers here towards the south.
Yeah, you can never really be too careful. Interestingly enough, Gerald has opened up with a Stargate instead of going for the Twilight Council. We tend to see a lot. This does still happen a lot in PvT. Typically, Phoenixes are the unit of choice zone instead of Void Rays.
Yeah, I was about to say, we've seen a lot of that in the recent PvTs here in DreamHack, where you open up with 5 or 6 Phoenixes and you just get full map control. You deal with all the drops, you focus on all the tanks and Ravens. Like, it can get really out of hand, but we see Gerald, he's only committing to the 1 Oracle.
Interesting. Well, the option is always there for him. If he needs to get some air control later on, get a couple of Phoenixes out, maybe he may require some crowd control. Oracle gets a very good scout on of everything, but he may lose it. The Marines are in position. The Oracle is taking a little bit too long, but the Adept does distract them for long enough to keep that Oracle alive. 4 SCVs went down as well.
I'm so surprised he didn't go into the main. There was literally nothing in the main. Literally nothing. He could have gotten so much damage done, but instead he went for the natural. You know, he kind of gambled a little bit, and now here we go. The Hellion drop is in the main base of Gerald.
Probes are lining up, Light. The probes are lining up. Split right at the end, but just a second too late. And Gerald is losing everything. There's not enough anti-air to really punish this medevac.
Exactly. Very nicely done there by Bratok, dealing an insane amount of damage. I honestly didn't think he would be able to pull it off, but yeah, and even so, he's able to keep this medevac alive.
he will. The Hellions still around to provide a little bit of a nuisance. Now, we were saying that the option is always available for the Protoss player to get Phoenixes out, and Gerald has done just that.
Yeah, I love how he got a single Phoenix just to shut down this drop, and it will force him to boost out. The Stalkers are here to intercept it. It looks like all of this will be cleaned up. Oh, Hellions looking to deal a little bit more damage. But
yeah, Oracle actually helping out a ton with its bonus to its light units.
And in the end, this will be cleaned up. Of course, we do have a Blink Stalker transition out of the Stargate opener, and I don't believe this has been scouted, but I mean, you can assume just because, again, you know, Braddock didn't really see too many Phoenixes.
Yeah, he had his eyes on that Stargate for a while. He noticed that you're not actually producing much from that, are you, buddy? So he kind of has an idea on what's coming his way, and it's kind of important to note he would not get as many tanks out if he was up against a Phoenix-based composition, but because he knows that he's not, he's free to get a couple.
Yeah, exactly, and this is getting a little bit scary, right? We have a decent amount of tanks, we have Ravens as well. Oh, meanwhile, we do have a bit of a multi-prong here. Does he commit? Oh, he commits!
Yeah, thankfully there were a couple of Marines in that bunker. Oh, but Braddock actually taking this very, very seriously. I suppose it's all the same. Gerald is not getting too much done here in the main base. Gets a tank.
Yeah, and honestly, that's pretty big because there were only 2 tanks to begin with, and for one to be picked off here by those Blink Stalkers, it does kind of slow down any kind of push that Braddock wanted to go for, which I imagine he does because we have all these upgrades lining up and we still don't see a 3rd CC. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it's gonna be ready to be lifted and thrown down just as the army moves out.
Oh boy.
So again, Gerald just try to get whatever pressure he can get done here. Pick off whatever key units he can. If he can take out that Raven early on, that would be more than ideal.
Oh god.
Stasis will catch more than half of the army. And Gerald's just looking to camp this.
Yeah, that he is. Thankfully, immediately Braddock did borrow his Widow Mines, otherwise that tank would have been so vulnerable. That would have been go time for Gerald to just dive on top of this army. But instead, Braddock's push is delayed.
And now he's gonna have to wait. Does mean that his sim finishes up, but it no longer lines up to, you know, completing right as he moves across the map. Gerald has a little bit more time to finish up his storm and get a couple of High Templar art.
Yeah, that he does, and I'm really curious to see if he's going to commit to push out across the map. Like, this army is a lot weaker than he would have liked, right? Like, there's less tanks, there's less Marines, there's just less in general, but he still goes across the map, which is a little bit surprising to me. We'll see if he's able to accomplish something. What's a little bit scary is that, Storm is about to finish up.
It is, and this is pretty ideal for storming down the bio. There are only 2 High Templar for now, though.
Oh.
And especially with this anti-armor missile, that is enough for the tanks from behind to shell away at him. Taking him out, but he needs to target fire. The bio eating up a lot of storms. Actually moves right back into the storms.
Yeah, but what's important is that Gerald, he doesn't really have too many gateway units on the ground, and the bio is pushing forward. The Widow Mines, they are borrowing. How good are the shots going to be?
Decent connections, but it seems like enough. Zealots are going to survive. Not long enough, though. Bit of a misclick there as well, picking up these Zealots instead of the tanks. Braddock will finally lose his entire army and not get too much economic damage.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, that was pretty close, and that was some nice target fire. The Storm, one of them was juicy, the other not so much. So Braddock, that was very close. He was almost able to get into that mineral line, but because he wasn't, like, that was a pretty big army investment, and I don't know about that one, mate. He did lose quite a bit there.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like there was a split-second delay there from Braddock seeing the storms for a little bit too long. If he had a little bit more health in the bio, then I think he would have won that a lot more decisively. But instead, things are kind of neutralizing.
Yeah, exactly, and this is where now Gerald, he's free to expand and take another base. Thankfully, he's lacking a little bit in the tech. Like, I'm surprised we don't see a Robotics Bay to, like, diversify the AoE and get, like, Colossus or Disruptors out. Right now, he's just sticking with, Archons, Chargelots, and Storm.
Which is pretty potent for the time being, but yeah, this is far from the end game composition for the Protoss player.
Exactly. This is still a formidable army. We do have 4 High Templar in that War Prism Rage to just storm upon his opponents. Ghosts are coming out, but again, you know, you can't EMP those High Templar when they're in the War Prism.
No, but I tell you what, like, you can try to snipe the War Prism.
This is true. Ghosts not ready though.
That they are not, and there's no Vikings in the sky either. Here come the storms, and they get just about every inch of the bio. Windmine shots were really good at connecting with those chargelets, but they actually get a little bit of friendly fire done. So, oh, more storms. So many more storms.
Another storm does land. Thankfully, Bratdox, he didn't have his entire army here in the first engagement, so he had plenty of reinforcements to come in, and Bratdox is able to push away Gerald. And finally, there we go, Robotic Spade does get thrown down.
Finally, that AoE is gonna diversify a little bit, get a couple of disruptors out at, I would imagine, against this many Marauders.
Yeah, not just the Marauders, but also the Ghosts, right? Like, you can't EMP those disruptors, and they can get their shots off. So, yeah, at the moment, especially because Gerald, his army was kind of hindered there, like he's also kind of stuck here at home. I would love to see a couple more drops. He's just kind of letting Gerald get away with his new expansion, his fresh expansion.
Yeah, what happened to that Widowmine drop earlier that he was setting up? Guess
Yeah.
it got denied somewhere along the line. Interesting spray location. An interesting spray.
Okay, huh?
It's just a message for Gerald, I guess.
I guess so. I haven't played Overwatch in a long time, mate. But, okay. Hey, is he too? Oh wow.
Yeah. Oh, he's just tagging the pylons.
Oh god.
I see your spotters. The EMPs will chase these suckers away for now.
That he does.
I think is going to be the question. Massive warp into Zealots.
Yeah, and there's nothing here. There is one Widowmine, but that is all there is here to defend. Gerald, okay, he does respond. He did scout it earlier.
These Zealots won't be getting too much done, but they will chase the entire army away and allows for the Stalkers to delay this 4th base. Bratdock has been on 3 bases for the longest time. That was a pretty good snipe.
Oh god.
Decent EMPs, but enough storms to keep this army at bay.
Yeah, unfortunately, those High Templar won't move command, so 2 went down essentially for free. Now the Colossus will go down as well. There's just not enough buffer for it. Ooh, just barely it backs off.
But the Zealots will come in from behind, and another Colossus will come in to support. The army of Gerald is starting to make its way back home, and there's not a lot Bratdock can really do from here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I thought he could definitely snipe at least that Colossus and maybe start to overwhelm Geralt, but Geralt, he was able to warp in just in time, use that overcharge to keep that Colossus alive. Oh my god! Oh, I thought it was going to catch some medevacs.
Yeah, not quite. Instead, this entire Bioforce will unload, and Bratdock is getting ready for a bit of a multi-prog. Geralt does see it.
Yeah.
Prepare, but honestly, there's not much buffer for those Colossus, is there?
Yeah, once again, like, there's just not too much there, but to be fair, this army isn't quite large either. There's plenty of shield batteries, and it looks like Bratdock's not feeling it. Meanwhile, we do have a Zealot run by, a bit of a Zealot run by here at the 3rd, dealing even more damage.
Yeah, this delaying or denying the mining for so long. Important to point out, Bratdock has been on 3 bases for the better half of this game. Geralt happily on 4 bases. That's about the minimum you really want as a Protoss player before you start to feel comfortable.
Exactly. I'm honestly a little bit surprised. Obviously, Bratdock, his 4th base was denied earlier, and he was forced to build it here on the high ground. Finally, he's looking to take his 4th, but just as Gerald is pushing out on the map.
Yeah, a bit of an awkward timing. Won't even be able to turn that into planetary in time. Bratdock has to consolidate his army right now, and he is trying to. Doesn't have a lot of anchor units, though. It's only 1 Liberator and a couple of mines.
Yeah, exactly. And the mines are not pre-positioned. They are not borrowed at the moment. Geralt, he's waiting for his opportunity to push in. And the army is kind of fragmented.
It is. Bratdock is hoping to get a bit of surround that he really needs to against this many Colossus. Some of these Colossus are very exposed, and they will get sniped out. But how is the surround looking right now for Bratdock? Pretty good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Exactly. The Colossus will go down. Only 1 Colossus remaining. And we saw there were 2 Colossus that just kind of waddled into their deaths. Again, there just was nothing to defend. But at the same time, we have a massive Zealot run by here at the 3rd base. 21 SCVs go down.
And that was just about the best fight Bratok could have taken, but now he needs to go all in with it. He needs to carry this momentum forward because he is not going to be able to mine for quite some time in this game.
Yeah, exactly. Colossus does stay alive. The Disruptor Shot goes off, but it misses. It doesn't hit.
And it does not. More Colossus are being produced right now, but right on top of the army. Bratok is preventing that from happening. A couple more Zealots are charging forward. The mines do borrow, and they get some juicy connections on those Zealots. But it's all said and done. Was it enough for Bratok? He's consolidated the rest of his army.
That's the thing, right? Unfortunately, Bratok, he's all in, right? You mentioned it earlier. He has to end the game here and now because of how much damage he received earlier. Or maybe not to end the game, but trying to equalize. And right now, he just can't break through the main army of Gerald.
Really cannot. He's giving him more and more time. Gerald, he got a 5th base, so this is all going on.
He did.
He can afford a couple of losses.
Mm-hmm. That he
not
can.
too many because he doesn't have much of a bank either.
We just see Bratok, he's trying to hit the 3rd base once again. I was waiting. There it is. Purification of it did go off, but there's still 2 more Widow Mines here. Oh, the Colossus.
There are. Oh, the Colossus is very, very exposed. It will get taken out just like so. That is just about all of the road facilities taken out here for Gerald. And the EMP is not getting the best connections, but good enough connections, I would say.
Yeah, he did land on one of the Archons, but again, he's not really feeling confident pushing on forward here with 2 Colossus and Disruptors and Storms.
I'm loving what Bratok is doing, by the way, with these Marauders. He knows that Marauders can take a couple of Storms, so we may as well just send him forward to snipe the High Templar. There's no more Storms available for Gerald. Meanwhile, more of the SCVs are going down, right?
God, the Zealot run-bys are insane. Meanwhile, Bratok, he does go straight to the main base, goes for a bit of a Doom Drop here, a bit of a Hail Mary play. What can he get done? The army is not responding in time.
Yeah, it's very fragmented right now. The Colossus are so exposed once again, Light!
Oh, God.
One of them will go down so efficient. These trades have been the bio against the Gateway Colossus army. But the Purification over. That's got a very good connection.
Yeah, exactly. Now here come the Archons and the High Templar. They do get picked off before they manage to land any Storms. Meanwhile, the Disruptor Shot actually goes for the Templar Archives instead, but there was plenty here for Gerald to push away the army.
And Bratok still maintains a pretty healthy army lead despite his economy being in shambles.
Yeah, but for how much longer? What I will say is that thankfully, like, these fringe bases, they're honestly a little bit isolated. And oh god, the Robos, they're here again. They're gonna get sniped. Well, potentially.
Yeah, Bratok is gonna try to snipe them, and the army of Geralt does take a while to get from one location to the other. Liberator is unable to siege for now. Just cannot get into a very good position. The Doom Drop, by the way, is still very much in play, taking out so much of the gateways. And that's a not insignificant amount of production being taken out for Geralt.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Geralt, he can barely produce anything right now. Only Zealots and only a couple of Disruptors as he's forced to remake that Cybercore again here at the 5th base. That, honestly, I would say one of the most vulnerable bases. Very interesting choice that's where he decides to throw down all his new production.
Yeah, he's really gotta keep an eye on that. He's keeping his available units in position there, which is definitely a start, but I would like to see a couple more static defenses thrown down.
I would as well. Meanwhile, Bratok, he's reinforcing his army towards the north, maybe going to meet up with that drop and try and hit the 3rd base once again. And Geralt, he's all over the place. What's important is that Geralt, he just doesn't have vision out on the map. He has no idea where the army's going to come from.
Yeah, he had a really good idea with those spotter pylons earlier on, but fortunately they have been dealt with. And Geralt is kind of playing blind. Purification over! Will not quite connect. That's a very hot pickup.
Oh my god.
Nice splits on the rest of these Novas as well. Geralt getting a little bit desperate there, but so is Bratok, and he is dealing with the pressure a lot better, I gotta say.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Bratok, he's been doing so well. Oh my god, just sniping so many high-tech units, just keeping his head on. And meanwhile, Geralt, he's honestly been pulled apart this entire game. Oh my god, the Widow Mines! Oh god! Okay.
Almost gets shot off.
Yeah, just barely they were picked off in time, and now Bratok, like, he's been able to pull himself back into this. His work count is still awful. It's still god awful, but you know, mate, you got mules, you know, and if he keeps trading efficiently like this, like, it's fine. It doesn't matter. Like, Geralt's army just hasn't been allowed to really be replenished.
That it really has not. Bratok actually taking the income advantage for a little while here. Again, these Purification Novas just are not landing. And the Disruptors are finally super exposed light.
Oh my god, all the Disruptors go down, the Colossus go down.
GG is called. And Gerald's fate is now sealed.
Ah my god, GG. As you said, that means Gerald, he will not be advancing through this group. He had to win this series 2-0. And now, with starting off with a loss, like, that's it for him, man.
Absolutely. Even if he wins the next 2 games, he's playing for he's playing for $150 at this point, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Gerald, he was looking so good that game, by the way. He was really ramping up, getting into his Colossus, his Disruptors, his High Templar with all these beautiful storms. But he was just pulled apart towards the end. Like, he was just never, his army was never where it needed to be.
You see what happens when we open up not with a 3 racks, instead with a 1-1-1? Or if we don't go 3 racks every single game?
Yeah.
Start winning.
I don't know if that's, the cause for this, but that was really well done by Bratok. Again, some nice multi-prongs, some nice drops all over the place. Just able to catch Colossus, Disruptors, High Templar every single time.
And just like that, I guess if that happens, it doesn't matter if you have more bases, if you're into mining. If you keep losing your money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And not just the money, but also like some of the production buildings as well. Like, even though he had all this tech earlier, he couldn't rebuild his Disruptors because they kept getting sniped. Same with Colossus as well. Same with his Stalkers because his Cybercore was sniped. It was all just very well played by Bratok.
Really was. A little bit at the start of that game, it did seem a little bit sloppy when it came to things like the positioning and the micro, but when things started getting desperate, Bratok just completely turned it on.
Mm-hmm.
Calm under pressure.
Exactly. And now we'll see if he can just straight up take the series.
That would be a bit of a power move. But we shall see as we continue our best of 3 series here on Oxide LE. We're here in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. The blue Protoss player coming out from the land of Poland. He is going to be representing Storm Gaming. PSG? Question mark? He is Gerald.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the Russian Terran. He's red, representing Team Starcom. It is Bratok.
Now you whip out the 3 racks.
You wanted to lose? You wanted to...
I mean, he's ahead.
Oh god.
He can take risks now.
He is ahead here. I also have to wonder if Geralt is aware of his situation. I'm not sure if he is. Like, we were notified by the admins, like, hey, this is what needs to happen for this player to move on and whatnot. But I don't know if that information was shared with the players. It's also possible that maybe the players don't want that information. Yeah.
Yeah, that could definitely affect. They can definitely affect things a lot when it comes to the mental state. He already knows that he's out. Bratok kind of knew he was out for a while, so was able to play a little bit more loose. He was able to process that. He had a lot more time to process that. Geralt, though, yeah, if he just found out now, then...
Yeah, or if he still doesn't know, it's possible. It's very possible.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't know. He'll be able to, give it his all. Still.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to Bratok, as you said, like, that could be as to why he played so well, honestly. Like, bearing in mind, Bratok is at the bottom of his group, but he looked pretty impressive there in the last game. He was very determined, and it's possible that maybe it's like a stress sort of thing, that now that, like, he knows that he has nothing to lose, like, he can just play to his heart's content.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if he loses the risks or he miscalculates fights or whatnot. The bottom line is still pretty much the same. So he may as well do these more risky plays and see what he can get away with.
Yeah. In a way. I guess more of what I was saying was that like Bratok, he doesn't have anything to worry about, so he doesn't have that like mental weight on his shoulders anymore about
Turn loose.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see how he does here in game number 2. We'll see if Bratok can kind of bring it back. We already see a little bit of a difference in the openers compared to game number 1, where Bratok, he is no longer going for that Stargate.
Yeah, opening up a bit more standard here. I say a bit more. This is just the more versatile opening for Protoss when it comes to PvT.
Yeah, I mean, Blink Stalkers, we we see it all the time nowadays, and that's what I imagine we're going to see from Gerald. We'll see if he's like becomes overcommitted to them and like goes for a big attack, or if it's just to maintain map control and even defend at home.
Well, bit of an earlier Robo facility coming out, so he does want vision across the map, whether it's with a warp prism and he really wants to be dedicated to Blink aggression, or just an observer to see if there's an opening for him to blink up into that main base. I say blink. It's got the upgrade just yet. There we go.
Yeah, I was thinking as well. I was starting to think like, yo, this Twilight Council's been done for a while. Blink is delayed. Like, what's going on? Are we going to see like a Dark Shrine or something crazy like that? But nah, it was just delayed.
Yeah, wanted to conserve that gas a little bit for the Robo facility, it seems. Get a bit of an earlier third base as well.
Ooh, and this Haluk did catch a glimpse of the drop, but did he notice it himself is the real question, because it was only a glimpse. It was like for 1 second he saw it, and once again, Braddock, he's going for that Hellion drop.
I'm not going straight for the main base just yet. He does want to get a bit of an idea of what he's dealing with. Will see the Stalkers, and will get out of there. Oh, very quick on the block.
Yeah, really nice done there by Gerald, able to wall off so the Hellions didn't get into the main base. Braddock, I love how cheeky he was being. He was like trying to trick Gerald into thinking that the Hellions were being dropped into the main base, but Gerald, he was on top of everything.
Indeed, he was. No bamboozling happening for the time being, and yeah, Geralt is just doing what I think we've come to expect a bit more from Protoss in PvT. Going for that earlier Robo Bay, should be getting some Colossus out just to deal with earlier pushes.
Yeah, this is a much more safer, conservative opening from Geralt. Again, if he did want to be a little bit more aggressive, we would have seen a Warp Prism by now from that Robo, but instead he goes into the Robotics Bay. We should be seeing him just, chill out at home, defend his third, expand. Meanwhile, Geralt, he's working towards his own push, working on his own upgrades and timings. I know he kind of missed it last game because of, how many losses he sustained. Maybe he'll be able to execute it a little bit better here in game 2.
Yeah, man, it's very much a Bratok here. Does not have to worry about stasis wards anymore, so we'll be able to hopefully make it across the map unhindered. He's building up a little bit of a tank count, getting as much bio as possible. He is just waiting for that sim to be close to done.
Yeah, exactly. And again, this is just going a little bit better for Bratok. Earlier, we saw that in game number 1, he lost a tank before he was even able to push out. The push was delayed as well. This time, he'll have everything he needs. But at the same time, Geralt, he's going to have earlier Colossus.
Much earlier. It's so important for Bratok to have that Raven as early as he does, to be saving up as much energy as possible. Okay, forced to throw down a bit of an earlier auto turret. Definitely not ideal, but still should have enough for 1 anti-armor and one disable by the time this push hits.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that it was worth it, right? Without that observer, then Geralt, he doesn't really have vision to blink into the main base. Also, he has limited vision when the army moves out. The Stalkers do still spot the move out, though.
That they do. And Gerald is now just going to start posturing his defenses.
Yeah, as he's now going across the map. Again, the Stalkers confirmed that the army is on the way. Oh my god!
Oh, Raven does get taken out, and that is so much utility. Just completely neutered for Bratok.
Oh god, without that Raven, now the Colossus stands so strong with this army. To be fair, there still aren't that many gateway units to help buffer for the Colossus, and this Hank's get a couple of free shots off.
Yeah, takes just about in range. He's even positioning his Marauders in such a way to try to bait the Colossus forward. He's keeping his Marines very safe behind the Marauders and the tanks.
Exactly.
Trying to get in, but don't find much of an opening.
Yeah, nice hold position there by Gerald. The Hellions, they do not find any damage whatsoever. Meanwhile, waste a scan. And as time goes on, these shield batteries are finishing up. Now we have a second Colossus.
Yeah, battery overcharge always available to Gerald if he needs it. Tanks are starting to scooch forward a little, but I fear it may be too late.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Braddock's all in or anything. Like, he has 3rd CC. Like, he can go and land it. He can morph it into an orbital.
Yeah, just like so. If it had to finish up before 3rd down himself, so yeah, Braddock definitely has to throw away his initial plans now, but it's not like he's out of it.
Yeah, like,
wait for Round of Vikings to come in, wait for SC2, and go for a second push.
Again, we can't understate like how important it was that Gerald was able to snipe that Raven. Like, that was huge. That was massive there for Gerald, and because of that, like, so much momentum, or as you were saying, so much utility was taken away from Braddock's army. He couldn't push in. He couldn't disable the Colossus. The game would have turned out so much differently if he did have a Raven with his army.
Yeah, the game would have ended by now if that Raven was with the army and disabled that Colossus.
It's quite possible, mate. It's quite possible. Oh, God. But that is not this game. That is not this world. As Gerald was able to defend beautifully, now he has 3 Colossus. He's working on his War Prism as well, so he can start being aggressive across the map.
Really looking to turn the tables right now on Braddock, who just landed that 3rd CC. So have a bit of a tougher time keeping that alive and starting to mine from there.
Thankfully, Braddock does get some stack defense. We have a missile turret here to help defend against those Colossus. Ooh, a couple of shots go off on those Zealots.
Which is kind of what you want to happen as a Protoss player, I suppose. Braddock forced to lift up that CC, not losing too many SCVs. Gerald has to be so careful in this corner. This is not what to expose the Colossus to any of these Marauders.
Oh, God,
like so.
Exactly. The Marauders, they stim forward. The Vikings get a couple of shots off on those Colossus. Colossus almost goes down.
Yeah, and the Zealot buffer is very much being dealt with, but more of them are starting to get warped in. Braddock has not been able to really prevent that warpism from warping in or just staying alive.
That he does not. In the end, Gerald, he does back up. Oh, the tanks are on siege! No, puppy!
Yeah, unsieged and so exposed! Immediately, 2 of them get taken out for free, essentially. Vikings are getting some pot shots off against these Colossus, but the Stalkers will keep them at bay.
Yeah, and that's why it's so awkward moving out in this position, and Braddock, he lost so much momentum there. He's pulled a couple of boys as well to help repair, and oh my God, I don't think this is the fight that Braddock wants to take.
Not at all, but he's already getting a little bit of initiative, takes out the Warpism earlier on, but there was nothing left to deal with the Colossus, the Archons, or the Storms. GG is called, and Gerald will take us to the ace match.
Oh, GG. Gerald's playing so much better there in game number 2, playing a lot safer, as we saw, going for those Colossus, going for those big Stalkers, just making sure his 3rd was safe and secure, and then move out.
Just like that. So we'll turn this series on its head a little bit. And I'm just being updated. We have confirmed our 4 players making it out from Group B. Seeding is still going to be a bit of... Yeah, seeding is still going to be something, though. Can still be determined between Showtime and Skillus, I believe. No, actually, no. Because Showtime... Yeah, because even if Skillus wins, and Showtime has the higher series score.
Yeah, exactly. As again, !B in the chat if you want to have a look at the Wikipedia page, and yeah, things have been confirmed. Again, because Gerald's already dropped a map, like, he won't be able to make it through. It does look like some of the other series have already ended as well. Yeah, Skillus also took a game of Milky Cow, which also confirmed.
Yeah.
Feels bad, man.
And now we are pretty much just playing for, well, a couple of reasons.
Yeah, exactly. We're just playing this out. Again, they're still earning some prize money depending on how many series they take and their placement in their groups. But we do have our confirmed top 4. Bit of a rough, bit of a rough group here for our Terran players, or some of our Terran players. Maybe they can make something happen here. And Brato can still take the series.
Yeah, apart from Hero Marine, who makes it out at the #1.
Yeah.
The Terran players have not really. I guess this is Duelia Terran.
Yeah, Hero Marine has been looking very impressive this tournament as well. Like, there were a lot of heavy hitters here. Just look at them, like Clem, Hero Marine, Raynor, Lambo.
Yeah, and Hero Marine so far has been the only player not to drop a series. It's got that perfect 7-0.
Oh yeah, we're gonna soon find out if any other player can get that 7-0 as well. Players like Raynor or Lambo / Cyril.
Well, yeah, it's going to be either Cyril or Lambo in Group D. One of them is going to get that perfect 7-0. The other one going to be tainted a little bit with a 6-1.
Potentially, as we are going to get into finally our ace match.
I mean, that's literally the only way it can happen.
Yeah. Mate, you skipped over Raynor, mate.
Well, no, I mean, Lambo versus Cyril is going to happen.
Yeah. That it will.
One of them is going to be 7-0. As we continue our series, conclude our series here on Blackburn LE. We're in the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We have the blue Protoss player coming out for the land of Poland. He is going to be representing Psystorm Gaming. He is Gerald.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Blackburn LE, we have our Russian Terran. He's red, representing Team Starcom. It is Bratok.
And what a map to conclude our TVP on, Light.
Yeah, we don't get this map too often. I'm pretty happy that we're here on Blackburn. Will we see Beckett Industries at any point today? That's the other question.
Oh, that's a dream.
Fun fact, we got it once last time, and it was literally the final series of the night. It was Paddy Mac versus Australia.
And we're so relieved that we could cross out the bingo card.
Yeah, it was great that we could see it at least one time last time, but we'll see if we get it at some point in today's broadcast, whether it's in EU or NA.
Got a lot of chances tonight. I was gonna say, Blackburn, if there was any map to pull out of 3 racks, Bratok, Blackburn might be it.
You really wanted just 3 racks, don't you?
I kind of don't, but I feel like it's what I expect from him now. So,
I mean, I would agree in the sense that, like, yo, if you're gonna do it on a map, this is the one to do it on, right? Like, the rush distance is pretty small. I'm surprised that Gerald let this through the vetoes.
I suppose he had to let some map through.
Yeah, again,
it's
unfortunately...
definitely a bit easier. It's definitely a bit easier for the Terran player when it comes to tank pushes. Reinforcing that front line is not going to take as long.
Yeah, I was just going to say, unfortunately, we didn't get to see the veto process, who vetoed what, or what the map order was. But yeah, this one did make it through. As he's even just checking to make sure nothing crazy is going on here.
I was hoping Gerald would throw down a pylon. But yeah, he is just playing this out very, very safe. Bratok, once again, that 1-1. And we're going to get a 1-1-1.
Yeah, and I didn't pay attention in the previous games, but I'm pretty sure once again Bratok did skip the Reaper, just going straight for a Marine.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. So we didn't see any
Reaper.
Reaper.
Not going for Reaper at all in the series.
Yeah. Foregoing some of that early on scouting information. But so far it's been fine. Like, there's been nothing early on that he's needed to scout.
Yeah. Gerald just about doing the same thing as on Oxide.
Yeah, which is a little bit surprising. Like, we talk about the rush distance by air a lot on this map and how short it is, and maybe this would have been a decent map to try and go for Phoenixes on. But at the same time, you also have to keep into account, like, the tank pushes, right? And that those strong bio pushes, and Phoenixes aren't necessarily amazing there, especially if you go mass Phoenix. I guess a handful of Phoenixes would do okay, but yeah, it's kind of risky.
Those couple of Phoenixes are going to do very well against a handful of tanks, but beyond that, yeah, it's pretty rough. for the Protoss player who goes Phoenixes. Gerald, or Baratok actually, leaving the safety of that bunker, and will pay a little bit of a price for that. But at the same time, he's preventing any scouting happening right now for Gerald, so guess it's kind of worth it. Marines are definitely a little expendable.
Yeah, that they are. As Gerald, he's going in anyway with his Luke. He's going to see all the production. He's going to have a decent idea of, hey, you know, this is pretty similar to what you were doing in the previous games. Similar, not the same, as if you recall previously in Game 1 and Game 2, Braddock tried to go for those Hellion drops, but looks like this time he's avoiding that completely.
Immediately goes for the Raven first. Does not want to mess around this time. He wants to be right in Geralt's face as quickly as he can with Raven that has a ton of energy and all of his upgrades.
Will he keep it alive though? That's the
yeah.
That's the question at this point. Oh god. Hopefully he does, and hopefully he'll be able to utilize some of his spells, his abilities at least.
And saying throw down that anti-armor missile, and a Gateway Protoss army falls apart like wet tissue. As Gerald is actually delaying his Robo Bay a little bit compared to game number 2.
Yeah, exactly. He's prioritizing upgrades on his Stalkers instead. I don't believe he has... Yeah, he didn't get a War Prison or anything like that quite yet. So he is still going for those Colossus.
But won't quite be out at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what he can get done with this. Like, again, Blink is about to finish up in a couple of moments. He does have high ground vision if he does want to blink into the main base. It is a little bit risky. I mean, thankfully, there's no tanks at all to defend any of, like, either the main or the natural.
Yeah, Gerald just completely skipped out into tanks this game, opting for mines instead. Which I guess is what you want against Chargelets and eventually Archons, but Colossus are going to come out pretty before that stage happens, so...
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest. Like, I guess, like, maybe Braddock wants to be a little bit more aggressive here in this game as... Oh, the Raven, no!
Oh, baited! He does get baited, but thankfully there was enough dead air to retreat to.
Oh, God. Braddock, please! As we just see, a bit of a drop here, but there is an observer to spot it, so Gerald, he should be able to see this coming. Yep, he does see it as it does leave the base.
This is why we go for Raven and Viking as well. No, I'm kidding. You never do that. It's gonna waste some money.
Oh god, but the drop is here. It was spotted. The Stalkers are able to keep up. Oh, the medevac!
And they will snipe one of the medevacs full of the bio. The rest of the bio does fetch a drop though. They're getting actually quite a bit done. We'll be able to take out one of these sentries, which is actually pretty huge. It's a lot less force fields than otherwise.
Was it worth two drops though, full of bio? Like that
Probably
was
not.
Oh god, that was a little bit unlucky there. That, you know, Braddock moved out and it was immediately spotted, and Gerald was able to just react and deal with it pretty easily. He's going for another drop, this time a Widowmine drop towards the north. Maybe this time he'll be able to find some damage, but I'm a little bit concerned because he's investing a lot in these drops, and so far they really haven't paid for themselves.
That they have not. Braddock, once that drop got taken out, realized I cannot quite go for the push I wanted to. May as well just play the harassment game for a little while longer.
Oh god, exactly, as that medevac is edging ever closer towards that third base. Thankfully, Braddock, he is getting his third, but yo, it's on location. It's so late in comparison. Oh my god.
Yeah, we'll see if Braddock's able to get away with this. He might as well burrow, and Gerald has not noticed it yet. 10 probes, and he's even able to keep the mines alive. Well worth it right now for Braddock.
Man, Gerald, what's going on? You reacted so well to that drop earlier, and yeah, you were talking about those Vikings and the Raven earlier. They do come out finally to clear up those observers, and what this means is that, yo, if Braddock goes for another drop into the main, Gerald, he's gonna have a lot less time to react.
Indeed, he will. So he's just keeping a couple of Stalkers in position, just in case. When he gets enough money, he may be throwing down a couple of cannons, but yeah, that is far. That point is far from now.
Definitely. I like how he even blinked into the pseudo island base as well, just to try and catch anything coming his way. Little does he know there is no drop, and the army is moving through the center of the map.
Yeah, +1 armor is about to finish up right off of Bratog. This is a pretty decent timing. Gerald does have quite a number of Colossus out, though.
Oh god, that he does. 2 Colossus already, a third about to pop out as well. There are a lot of Vikings though, so potentially Bratog could deal with it. He of course still has his Raven alive from earlier.
Yeah, we'll see how good the Interference Matrix and Anti-Armor is going to be.
Yeah.
Bratog has a pretty healthy army supply lead, but can never underestimate static defense and defender's advantage.
Exactly. As he is looking to push out, we'll see if he commits to this or if he's just kind of posturing a little bit, because we have a Ghost Academy on the way, and I don't know if he necessarily wants to push out without EMPs.
Well, definitely not against High Templar, which I believe Bratog has confirmed, but he has an inkling. He knows that the time of pure Colossus has long passed. The Protoss player has been left alone for long enough. Gerald should be getting some High Templar out.
That he is.
He does.
Yeah, the High Templar, they are already done. They're slowly gathering that energy. Meanwhile, something that we have to bear in mind is Bratog still has that drop of Widow Mines just ready to dive in.
That he does. I like the High Templar way to feed back the medevac as it comes in.
It would one-shot it, like the medevac has already got low health.
It's at low health, it's at full energy.
Yeah.
Completely taken it out of commission. Oh, the ghosts are vulnerable! Do not go down.
Ghosts, they barely managed to survive there. Gerald, he confirms that, hey, Ghost Academy is done. Ghosts are on the way. So now he's going to need to be a little bit more careful with his High Templar. He needs to load him up into that War Prism.
When it eventually comes into play, yeah, he's, for now, just splitting them up as much as he can.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit concerned. Bratog was a little bit caught off guard there, but okay, he does not realize. Does pull back. The storm. Oh god.
The storm. Small party of bio is able to snipe that without losing much of anything. Oh, that high energy medevac though does get taken out, and I just realized Bratog has only one medevac with this push. Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate disable there. Feedback will deal with the rest of the Raven engine. The storm bleeds, or does a ton of damage to these Vikings. Oh, snipes a War Prism.
Yeah,
that's gonna be harder for Gerald to micro.
Exactly. I'm a little bit concerned about what you just said though, because you're right. There's only one medevac. Like, there's every single stim is going to hurt his army so much more.
That it will. The battery overcharge is keeping so much of this army alive right now for Gerald. The EMPs are not going to be enough to deal with the battery overcharge, and Bratog, his offensive has just been completely crushed.
Yeah, exactly. Gerald, he was set up beautifully there with his storms, with his Colossus, with his disruptors, and nothing went down. Like the Vikings, they were stormed as well. They were easily thwarted, and GG gets called.
Gerald